I'm just enjoying seeing you all. Feels a while since I've sat in this seat of offering you a talk. I'm kind of taking you in. I want to offer my gratitude for being invited to speak. And you know, there are always so many things to talk about, and so many that you will have heard before. But each one offered in a unique way, I guess. So that's how it will be this evening, whatever arises. Initially, I just want to ask you to forgive me a little if I'm a bit fidgety. I had a couple of injections in my knees yesterday, and I kind of need to move about a bit sometimes, so please forgive that. I wanted to ask you just to do a little visualization with me initially. If you are comfortable with your eyes closed, would you close your eyes? If not, then just, find a way that you're going to be comfy. Sitting where you're sitting. Maybe just taking a moment to notice the difference and the transitions between all of these little elements as we move through our practice this evening, moving from walking to sitting again, and now to listening, to noticing how your body is as you sit here, what you can hear, what you can feel, just in this moment. I'm going to invite you to imagine that you're actually sitting in this room with me. And it's daytime rather than evening. And if I look outside my window, which is a bay window up a story, there's a very beautiful tree outside. I have an intimate relationship with this tree. We've known each other for quite a while. It shares its seasons with me. It offers many different aspects of itself and many responses to the rain, the wind, the sunlight. At the moment, its leaves are red, shaped rather like palms. They're starting to turn a little brown on the underside, and they've been blowing a lot in the wind today, each leaf dancing its own dance. In the springtime, it bursts into small green flowers, and then the leaves appear. It's constantly changing. And I've been thinking as I watch this tree, and I love this tree, about its roots, the things that you don't see, the things that are under the earth, that reach far. I don't know how far. I don't know where they reach to. Under the gardens, under the pavements, deep into the earth. And they're what holds it upright. They're what nourishes it. They're what sustains it. And when I think about that, I start to think about our practice and Sangha and community. And I kind of imagine our particular Sangha like a tree with a network of roots everywhere and so many connections that I don't know about. Last couple of weeks ago, we listened to Flint talking about the importance of spiritual friendship as it being the core and the heart of our practice, and how practice flourishes from that spiritual friendship. And I don't know all the connections that you have between you. I only know the ones that I'm involved with, if you like, the ones that I see, but there are so many unseen things that hold us. And I've been thinking about what is it, that holds us upright? How do we hold each other? How do we sustain this practice together? So many things, so many questions. So while you've still got your eyes closed, if you have, I just want to invite you and take you back with me about 10 years or so. And a memory that I have of when I first went to a Zen practice, if you like, which was at Josh and Trudy's house. And I remember knocking on the door and the door being opened. And I don't remember who it was, but whoever greeted me bowed to me, and I bowed in return. And then I was shown where to put my coat, my bag, and the Zendo was upstairs. So I went upstairs. There was somewhere to put my shoes neatly with everybody else's. No words, nothing spoken, just silence. And then I remember going into the room, the Zendo, and I had no idea at all about any of the forms that I might need to practice or that are familiar now perhaps to some of us. I just remember going into this room, complete silence. There was one person sitting there with a beautiful little altar, the rows of chairs, and just going and sitting, and other people came in. Some of them bowed to their seats, bowed to the room, and eventually the bell was rung, 3 bells, and we sat together. And there's so much as I think of that I took away from that first experience. Something felt very different. First of all, the greeting, the silence, the sense of feeling at home, something stilling and connecting without words. I suppose I'm curious, about your experiences of first sitting in a Zendo with other people. And I'm thinking that we do this on a regular basis now online, and that we have all these strong roots. You have many roots that I don't know about. We have all the roots of our lineage. We have all those people who support us that we may not necessarily see frequently, but we know they are there. All of Appamada, Lynne, all of the people in the Justice Sangha, and then of course the rest of the world, if you like, that holds us upright, that keeps us. And I was thinking of how we express this holding, how we look after each other's practice. And I listened to a talk not that long ago by Kathy Fisher, and she was talking about what we practice is the practice of respect. And I was thinking to myself, what does that mean? And of course I looked up the word respect in the dictionary, as we often do with these things. What is respect? What do we respect? What does it mean? And there were a couple of things in the definitions that I really liked. One is that it's to regard something or someone with honour. That seemed to fit. And to avoid harming. It seemed to fit the precepts. To treat with consideration. And not to offend. All of those things. And I was thinking, how do we express that respect for each other as we sit together online? I feel, just the fact that we're here is a practice of respect. Just the fact that we've turned up. And I don't know with any of you what it has involved for you to be here this evening, what has happened, if you like, in the preparation to come and sit together. But simply being here is a practice of respect, a respect for each other, a respect for this practice that we all are engaged in, a respect for ourselves and our own lives. Blanche Hartman, in her book, Seeds for a Boundless Life, reminds us that we all need to begin by respecting ourselves and see how we can spread that respect around to include everyone we encounter, everyone we practice with. Then she goes on to say, if you could develop a warm-hearted feeling for taking care of yourself, that's not selfish, because then you'll be able to expand that warm-hearted feeling to those around you and continue expanding it to more and more and more people. This made me think about how our Sangha has been holding in our hearts, in our practice, Kath and her partner recently, and made me think about how we care for each other. And then it made me think also about the word Appamada, which means diligent care. Do we hold each other by practicing diligent care for each other? And what is it that we create when we sit together online, in our online Zendo? Is it a sanctuary? Is it a sacred space? What makes it sacred? We create it together. I couldn't do it on my own. It would be very different if it was just me. But there's something in the way that we approach it, and I was thinking again about the practice of respect as being an orientation. It's our orientation and the way that we approach things that makes it a practice of respect. And it extends, like Blanche Hartman suggests, it extends beyond this space, beyond this group of people. And if we're following our bodhisattva vows, we're practicing for all beings. And if we think about the verse, the echo that we say at the end, we say, may we together with all beings realize the awakened way. So this practice of respect is for all of us. So if I go back to that memory of entering the Zendo, that early experience of going upstairs, and I think about what was that about respect. There was certainly a deep respect for the practice of how we greet each other, of how we create a space in which we can sit. And the respect through offering care, offering attention, offering care for each person's experience. Earthly Manual says, when we take care of ourselves, we take care of sanctuary. When we take care of the earth, we take care of humanity, because we're the earth. So when we enter sanctuary, we enter ourselves. We bow to our own lives. We make offerings from the earth before we take our seat on it. And she emphasizes this idea of sanctuary. Ultimately, sanctuary is within. We walk spiritual paths by gathering ways of living that are in alignment with peace. Outer sanctuary helps us in doing so. When we're in spiritual community, perfect or not, we see ourselves more clearly. We see the depth of our pain and rage while bowing or offering incense and flowers. We move so slowly that our bodies cannot be overlooked. We live in a community that observes our human frailty. And there is something for me that's really moving and beautiful about that. That in our respect, we are respecting our own humanity, our own frailty, our own vulnerability. And as we sit in our space together, I have been asking myself, of course, as you do, how do I truly honour and truly respect the time that we have together? The sanctuary that we build in this couple of hours that we have. And is there a time when that orientation of respect begins? I was thinking about early mornings. Sometimes I go to the Nothing Special meetings on a morning, and they start at 8 or 8:15 in the morning. And I know there've been times when I've hastily got up. I might have sat with my top half with something that looks respectable and my bottom half in my pajamas. I might have turned off the video camera sometimes because I needed to go to the loo. And I'm asking myself, does any of that matter? And what does it feel like, this respect? But I know that I wouldn't do any of that if I was meeting with you in person in a Zendo. And I know that if I was on retreat, I wouldn't be doing any of that. So there's something for me about, and I have been trying, I guess, well, that's not the right word. I have been practicing this orientation of respect. First of all, in honouring my own practice. How do I do that? Well, simply by giving myself the space and time when I can. Maybe by lighting a candle. Maybe by bowing or saying some of the verses. I don't know. I'm curious what you might do and what you do in there to honour your own practice and to honour this space that we meet in. There's something about clearing the space, making it into a small temple, or doing, as Josh suggested a little while ago, the bowing to my seat and the bowing to all beings before I even sit. Something in those small actions offers me the feeling of being present, of feeling care for my own practice, and in that care for the whole practice. It feels as if I create my space and make my little space here sacred, because I can't be sitting with you in a bigger zendo, that something about this space connects with all of the little sacred spaces that you're sitting in. And then we sit together in this larger sacred space, if you like. And it feels as if it multiplies and makes it bigger. For me, it makes it bigger. So I guess my questions to you would be, how do you honor your own practice? And also, how do you feel we hold each other upright and honor each other's practice? And finally, I'm just reminded of what we have sitting on the website, if you like, that we look at on a regular basis when we come to the Zendo. And that's the Norman Fisher quote, which says, "When you're alone, practice as if you were with others, and when with others, practice as if you were alone." And I would add to that practice of respect. Thank you very much.